What's going on, my friends? SeanPierceJohnson here, and we are back with another stop on our Matthews Effects journey. Today, we are delving into the mad science realm of the Matthews Effects world with the Chemist V2. Now, if you're not familiar with the Chemist, this is another one of, as I like to think of it, Matthews Effects alternate state pedals. Basically, like the Astronomer, it has two sets of knobs, a top row and a bottom row, that you can either set to the same effect or a different effect and switch between the two different sounds. So essentially, it's a multi-modulation pedal, and this one has some great effects built into it. So let's talk about the controls and the effects that are built in. Let's put that pedal up on the screen. And again, we are greeted with some really cool artwork. I love the sort of gold, white, purple color scheme of this one. So the controls: reaction, catalyst, and formula. Reaction is always going to be your wet-dry blend, so it's a mix knob. For two of the effects on the Chemist, the catalyst is going to be a speed of the effect. So with the phaser and the chorus sound, which we'll get into more detail in a little bit, it's going to set your speed. For the multi-polyphonic octave effect that we have going on the Chemist, it's going to be the +1 octave mix knob. Then we have formula, which for the phaser and chorus is going to act as the depth of the effect. And then for the polyphonic octave, we have the mix of our low -1 octave effect. So I've hinted what effects are built into the Chemist. We have a chorus, a phaser, and a polyphonic octave effect. So how do you select which is going to be on the different rows of knobs? Well, just like the Architect and the Astronomer, there are slider switches on the side of the pedal. You can either choose between the Iridium Phaser, the Cobalt chorus, and the Lithium polyphonic octave. I love the scientific elements there. And for some reason, these ones are, when I say the names, it's like, oh yeah, that really fits the sound and whatnot. Then outside of the switches and the knobs and the 2 foot switches, your bypass being on the bottom, and then your alternate state switch being the top one, which again, little bit higher so that you don't knock the bottom switch. Nice little design touch there. We also have an expression pedal jack, which allows you to control the formula knob with an expression pedal on the bottom row of knobs. We also have a jack for the alternate switch, which allows you to use a normally open foot switch in order to switch between the 2 different effects. So you could essentially hook this up to a Gigrig G2 or a Boss ES8 or something like that, or have just any old normally open remote foot switch, and the pedal is like all the way across your pedal board, and you'd be able to switch between the 2 different sounds, which I think is pretty darn awesome. But what's even more awesome is how it sounds. So let's do this. I'm going to show you guys all 3 effects that are built into the Chemist and show you a couple different sounds of each that I enjoy the most. Then to wrap it up, I'll show you my preferred combination of the 2 different effects. So let's jump in, people. This is the Iridium Phaser, a deeply resonant kind of phaser. Now, it's not going to sound like your Phase 90 and your Phase 45, and quite frankly, I have enough of those in my collection. I don't need another one. But with this one, you get more of that vocal kind of watery phaser, and that, even with that setting on the catalyst knob on the top row, that's still a fairly slow speed. And with the resonant peak being adjustable with the formula knob, you can really get that fine point where it cuts through. Kind of gives the sound a little bit of a metallic quality, but you can still feel that motion, but you can hear it cut through. Let's just dial up the formula a little bit more. I love that little resonant undertone. But then again, there is more to it. If we switch the alternate switch on, we see this LED go on, the top one right here, and now we're in the bottom row, which is something a little bit faster. That fast speed thing just really starts to get seasick. What would that sound like with some dirt and some echo? Chorus. I'm a chorus nerd. I just am. I can't explain it. I love them all. Digital, analog, rack mount, pedal, large pedal, small pedal, what have you. I'm a bit of a chorus junkie. I use it a lot. Use it almost all the time on clean tones because I just love the way that the motion helps a clean guitar sound feel a little bit more fleshed out. And this one definitely toes the line of the kind of choruses that I want. It's a little crisper than, say, your analog chorus, but I love the way that it adds a sort of nice hi-fi nature to some humbucker guitars. It's not so gooey. It definitely has some glassiness to it. I'm using a lot of buzzwords right now, but that's just honestly how I feel about it. And it works pretty much for everything that I want to do. If I want to go for some other parts that I've written. You can hear turning up the reaction. That's good. It kind of gets us into more of a watery kind of chorus sound. But if that's not your speed, but you like the way that that motion feels, just use the reaction knob. Turn down the mix, you'll be good to go. But of course, like any good chorus pedal, we can get this thing into the vibrato mode, which of course leads to some rather seasick kind of sounds. And the vibrato has a little bit of that VB2 vibe, pardon the expression, going for it. It's not 100% like that sound, but it definitely gets us in that neighborhood. And when it comes to playing with some distortion, that nice little always on vibrato is just, it's an interesting thing to play with. Pardon the little slip up there, but hey, you know, I'm enjoying myself right now, which is the most important thing when it comes to making music and playing with these pedals. Man, octave effects are so much fun because that extra pitch just lends a little bit of extra vibe. I have used a Boss OC2 on my pedal board for at least the last 10 years because I just love the way that that low octave mixed in with my dry guitar signal just really drives home some parts. The bad part about that pedal is that it's monophonic. So if I want to play chords, it's just chaos and all kinds of wrong. I mean, I like it, but a lot of people don't. The Chemist, though, is polyphonic. So that means no matter what you put into it, it's producing octaves for all the pitches, as evidenced by this. You get every note in the chord, and you have the ability to mix the +1 octave and the -1 octave independently. The reaction is going to be the mix of your original guitar signal. The more you turn it up, the less of it that you get. The catalyst is going to be the +1 octave, and the formula the -1 octave. And for this particular setting, I feel like it lends an almost 12-string quality, but we can go ahead and adjust the mix of the low and the high octave and get something a little bit more akin to that sound. There's just a little bit of motion and detune in the octaves, so it almost has a little bit of a chorusing effect. But as I said, I like that driving low octave thing for some parts. Now, one of the parts that I wrote in one of my band's songs, Cockeyed Optimist, for those of you who don't know, links in the description below, people. There's a particular riff in one of our songs that just felt like it needed something special. Now, I recorded the original part like this. Which is cool. I like it a lot, but it needs an extra little bit of vibe. Bring in a little bit of low octave and also mix in just a hair of the high octave to really help the pitch cut through, and it makes a world of difference. Just kind of has this whole new vibe and this whole new level of aggression that just really drives home that part. And that's what I love about it, is being able to use it to great effect. Great tool, comes in handy amazingly well in a live context. So those are all the effects built into Chemist. Now let's go ahead, dial up my favorite sounds, and I'll show you how I would use it in the context of my guitar rig. Now, most likely for my uses, I'm going to be using the chorus and the octave effect on the Chemist. The chorus is almost always going to be on clean tones for me, but this one actually works really well with some dirt on it as well. Because it has that kind of hi-fi tone to it, it doesn't have that darkening quality like, say, an analog chorus might. Now, the octave, again, like I illustrated when we took a look at just that effect, I love that low octave growl, but I've adjusted the mix ever so slightly to make the octave effect just a little tighter. And again, that little bit of high octave in there helps it cut through on some riffs. So let's hear the chorus on some cleans with a little bit of echo and some verb. Very nice. Love it. Now switching to the alternate switch, we have the octave effect. And of course, like I said, riffs galore. But it also helps me figure out new ideas and things that I might want to write. So, say for example, I have a riff like this in the bridge of a song. And I want to add just a little something to that. Maybe the octave effect is what I need. Imagine layering those two chord parts with the octave part. Hopefully that illustrated the way that I think of an octave effect. Just a really cool way to add some nice layers to your overall guitar sound. And there you have it, my friends. That was your look at the Chemist V2 from Matthews Effects. This pedal, I love it. The fact that it has chorus, phaser, and octave, those are all effects that I use on my normal everyday pedal board. So I can take two pedals off of the pedal board and replace it with a Chemist. Hook it up to the G2 with the alternate jack and switch between the two different effects. I'm all for it. The sounds lead to very cool musical exploration, new ideas, new exploration, new territory, uncharted, if you will, new experiments, if you will. I'm just having a boatload of fun with this one. I am enjoying it immensely, and I hope you enjoyed this look at it today. And if you did, please let me know in the comments section below. And hey, we're not done yet. We have one more stop on our Matthews Effects journey. So come back and join me. Click the subscribe button, turn on the notifications, because this Saturday we wrap it all up with the Cosmonaut. Thank you so much for spending some of your day with me. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day and have a good one. And until next time, my friends, I'm Sean Pierce Johnson, and I wish you all great tone and happy stomping. Cheers.